Hello, everyone. I'm George from Ireland, speaking out against executions in Iran. Now, I'm not in favor of the capital punishment. If it were to be used at all, it should surely be only used for the severest offences, particularly murder, particularly mass murder or whatever, very sadistic ones. Prefer it's not used at all. But what's particularly galling is when it's used for lesser crimes. Indeed, after a fair trial, an unfair trial, the person may not have done anything at all. As we used against minors, and it's really horrific what's going on in the Islamic Republic of Iran. And in the previous calendar year, according to the Gregorian calendar, Iran is known to put to death at least 975 people. I don't blame Iranians generally. Many will be horrified by this. They'll be victims of this. So it's an oppressive regime. The elections are rigged in as much as only people only stand if the Council of Guardians approves them. And I know there's factions within the government, but the Overton window is quite narrow and there's limited possibility for reform. And I met a woman whose husband is on death row in Iran for gambling, as they see it, a gambling which is not even illegal in most jurisdictions and is not a death penalty in any other country, so far as I know. So it's horrific, really, because he was a dissident. So this is violent intolerance of people exercising their human right to opine and to try and improve society. So it's staggering, it's sickening, and also it's barbaric that these are public executions for the purpose of terrorizing the populace. And obviously it works, but the situation was so terrible, was so oppressive that many people found the immense courage to come out onto the streets. And in 2023, Her Majesty's, or sorry, His Majesty's Office of Foreign, Commonwealth and Development Affairs, there's a 50% chance of revolution in Iran that year. I think this year is much lower, like 20% over the next 12 months. But the regime was significantly threatened and rattled. Pezeshkian, the president, took over about a year and a half ago. I don't think he's improved the things. And he's a physician. You thought he might be merciful, want to preserve life, but apparently not. I mean, just because he's clean shaven doesn't mean he's more moderate. He may not be such a religious headbanger, but he certainly supports violent oppression. So it's terrible. And people put to death for trafficking narcotics, and some of them are addicts themselves, for homosexual acts, just for having unpopular religious beliefs, for espionage. Are they really spying on behalf of Israel? Maybe, maybe not. And Israel doesn't seem to try and do anything to get these people out if they really are agents. Surely you would say, we'll release some Hamas prisoners or something. And then also Iranians would know in future, if you get caught, your life will be spared, you'll be out. I mean, I don't know, maybe they offered such a deal behind the scenes and the Iranians said no, because people have got to know that if they spy for another country, they will be put to death. I mean, they might be innocent, they might be dissidents are being killed. And there's something to blame them with, something to spare the embarrassment of the regime for Israel's successful strikes, a way to terrorize the peaceful opposition, and so on, and a way maybe to deter people who really are helping the state of Israel. And the thing is, the majority of them are for drug-related offenses. It's terrible. And executing women as well. I mean, the great majority of those executed are men. Women are only about, not even 5% of those put to death. Well, I don't want anyone, male or female, is even more shocking that they're women. And they are disproportionately from the ethnic minority communities, Baluch people, Kurds, Afghans, and so on. So that it is terrible. It just shows the nature of the regime, such injustice. My goodness. And these trials can last just a few minutes for rape. And obviously rape is a heinous crime. I don't dispute that. And these legal catch-alls, being an enemy against God, being corrupt on the earth and stuff like that, these are totally unfair. There's no due process is recognized. Torture is used promiscuously, and false confessions are beaten out of people, their threats against relatives. So it's very, very oppressive. So the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights has persistently said Iran must have a moratorium on the death penalty. Okay, it's not against international human rights law. It's true, but if they're not to do it now, could they at least pause, consider the situation, hear more appeals, improve the trial so that verdicts are verdicts we can really believe in, and so forth. So we'd have to regard them all as innocent because virtually none of them have fair trials. Amnesty International and in Iran Human Rights has said this has got to stop. It's terrible. People are often saying, well, you're talking about what's going on in Gaza. How about Iran, a big backer from us? So I'm talking about it. This is not remotely anti-Iranian. It's pro-Iranian. Virtually all the victims are Iranian. So, I mean, I don't want this to happen. Another thing is it shows about drug dealing. No matter how severe the penalties for possession of even a tiny amount, is not going to stop drug trafficking. And the regime is sometimes profiting off that, coming over the border from Pakistan, from Afghanistan, often on the way to Turkey and on the way to Europe and so forth, on the way to other Middle Eastern countries. So the lowest level people get killed. Just those trading in Bitcoin can be killed. It's terrible. So no wonder Iranians want to get out. People are afraid to go back. Iranians are dual citizens of other countries are scared to go back, like that poor woman, what was her name, Nazarene Zaghini Ratcliffe, in prison for years on spurious charges of espionage, finally set at liberty. So stop the death penalty now. I mean, it could be you. You could be the one who's wrongfully convicted. Even if rightfully convicted, we don't need to execute people. It doesn't bring someone back. If there's been a murder, it doesn't bring the victim back. And one of the reasons I'm against it is it also punishes the family of the felon. She has committed murder, for example. All right. But, you know, if you execute this person, you think of the grief you inflict on his or her family. Now, I say, but what if the person's life in prison? There's still grief. Well, it is, but the person is still at least alive. There could be some happiness. She could somehow achieve something, could bring some happiness to the family, meet them sometimes, be allowed to touch them sometimes. Could this person be released or escape or something, somehow make amends, somehow be reformed? So we just don't need more violence in the world. So Amnesty International is right on this one, but it's terrible that they want the death penalty for children. It's sickening they want the mass murder of children, and that they have the nerve to say that that's healthcare. So the Iranian regime is bad in many, many ways, but it is at least good. Perhaps the only way is defending innocent children, girls or boys in utero, to be spared, to be shown mercy. So even one of the most brutal regimes on earth has more compassion than many Western countries, than my native land of Ireland, than Great Britain, where I'm currently reside, and so forth. Anyway, let's do what we can to stop the death penalty. Anyway, thank you for watching. Who am I? I'm just a nobody. Why would anyone listen to me? But it's horrifying to think that people right now are on death row, maybe being led to their execution, being executed as we speak. Just so lucky to be alive. So what little I can do, the tiny contribution I can make to try to spread a bit more mercy and compassion in the world to save people, I should make my tiny contribution. Thanks for watching. Make sure you subscribe on Patreon.